Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the Knife Center. And every Thursday, right here at this table, we bring you the coolest new knives that had just hit our shelves, sometimes as many as 24 a week, and that doesn't even cover everything. With all those new knives, you might be asking yourselves, which are actually the best? Well, based on the dollars you folks actually spent, here are the top 10 best-selling new knives of 2025. All right, we'll get the boring ground rules out of the way right at the front. This list is running from December 1st, 2024 to the day we're filming this, which is December 1st, 2025. Works out pretty good, huh?
Awesome time for editing.
There you go. It covers the last 12-month period. No sprint runs, no limited editions are included in this list because that limited nature sort of distorts the natural order of things, so to speak. Now, in past years when we've done this video, we've also allowed old models to be included if they came out with a new variant that sold so well that it would stand on its own in the list. And this year, we're going to give them their honorable mention space as they come up, but we're going to keep it to all new designs as the official numbers for this year. Coming in number 10, I have everything either next to me or here in this lovely ZT bag. No ZTs on the list this year. But number 10, the Spyderco Slym, a collaboration with Lion Steel, kind of taking their model called the Skinny and Spydercoizing it just a little bit. And like other kind of spy knives that they've done in collaboration with Lion Steel in particular, it comes off a little bit different, not quite the model that it's based on. It has a little bit of its own identity, even though it does hew pretty closely. Price on this is about $277. You got a 3.42-inch M390 blade, crown spine, signature Spyderco opening hole there, of course. And the handles are titanium with a polar dark matter fat carbon inlay and integral construction. That handle is a single piece of titanium, not two sides bolted together in some fashion. It makes it very strong, very stable and durable over time, and it's something Lion Steel is definitely known for being able to do and do exceptionally well. Pretty cool. Rounding out the back end of the handle, we got a deep carry pocket clip with left or right side carry capabilities. And in addition to that Spyderco opening hole, you've also got a flipper tab here at the back, which works great. You also have the ability to remove that flipper tab if you like the cleaner look, either in the open or closed position. Less sticking out there at the back, a little more elegant perhaps. And if you like this design but don't really want the opening hole, check out the Lion Steel Skinny. Gets you in the same kind of ballpark for sure. All right, number 9, and this is one I honestly didn't see coming, but I'm also very pleased that it is on the list. That is the CRKT 4200 Michael Walker blade lock knife. Not a particularly evocatively named knife, shall we say, but a very cool knife. And it's bringing back something that was not so fresh anymore in the CRKT lineup and putting a new spin on this. This is why we don't consider this to be an old model. This is a new thing right here. Comes in about 85 bucks. You got a sub 3-inch blade, 14C28N steel, which is a good steel selection from CRKT there. G10 handles, front and back. Really cool pivot design. Single-sided pocket clip in this case. But the real thing that sets this knife apart, though, is the thumb stud. Yes, you open a knife with a thumb stud normally, and you do that here too, but that's also how you close and unlock the knife in this case. Check it out. If you look at it from this angle right here, you can see it's sitting up on sort of a lever. And when you push down on that, that's what is the unlocking action for the blade. So push down on the thumb stud, simply rotate the blade closed. Your fingers stay out of the path of the edge, which is nice. And to open it, it's the same way. You can't just flick the thumb stud, you do have to push it down and open rather smoothly. Where this differs from older versions that used this blade lock, hence the name of the knife, you could get assisted opening versions, but they kind of behaved like an automatic, like a real switchblade, because as soon as you would basically push down on the thumb stud, it would spring open, which is pretty cool. It's not what's going on here, though. However, you don't have to worry about unwanted springs in this case. Those old versions, I think, had like AUS 6 blade steel, so the 14C28N here is definitely an upgrade. Plus, Michael Walker, such a legendary designer in the knife world, popularized the modern liner lock, of course, but that's not the only lock he came up with, as you can see right here. Coming in at number 8, we have a multi-tool, actually, and a member of the most exciting multi-tool family to come out in a good bit. Anyway, the Roxon Flex Campanion. May not look like much from this outside rectangular view, but it's what's inside that counts. And we have a set of tools here that is excellent. We got a D2 blade, scissors, saw, scraper awl, and file with a depth gauge / pry bar, and a 1/4" bit driver on the back. But if you don't like those items, or you want something a little bit different, everything in here, apart from that bit driver, can be swapped out in literally seconds for amongst the dozens of available implements for the Flex series. Best of all, it only costs like $50 too for this base unit, and even comes with a couple extra tools. But let's say you don't want this little guy right here. Simply pull the lock bar all the way back, and you can take it out. And then pretend this is something different. You can put something different right back in. That simple, that easy. You can have things set up for whatever you're doing on a particular day or a particular trip. So you don't even need to have multi-tools. Just customize what you're carrying day to day, or just set it up exactly how you want it. No tools you don't need, and you're good to go. Really awesome set of tools. You can buy the tools or the individual implements from us here at KnifeCenter. Other places, they come in like 3 packs where you might not be, might be after one thing. You can only get it by buying 2 other things you don't want. You don't have to worry about with us here. Check out links in the description, of course, for all of these items. That's number 8. Number 7, I don't have one here in front of me, unfortunately, because they are sold out everywhere. The K-Bar Slabby. Folks have been asking for K-Bar to make a full tang version of their classic fighting knife for, I would say, eons, but that's probably an exaggeration. Well, they finally delivered. The Slabby is that classic profile with a few tweaks, of course, and then full tang strength. And they have sold insanely well. Not even K-Bar has any that we can get more from at the moment. So keep your eyes out for when they are restocked, of course, but you can put a pre-order in at the link below as well. That's something our website offers. So I should mention that as well. All right, now we're gonna come to our first honorable mention for today. This is an older design, but it was released with MagnaCut steel this year. And MagnaCut continues to be an incredibly popular steel because it is hands down the most well-balanced stainless steel on the market. It has high edge retention and high toughness. Normally for a stainless, you gotta pick one or the other. Or if you want those other 2 things, you'd have to go with a steel that isn't stainless. So there's a reason it is so popular. And the Becker Campanion, the BK2, has been released now with MagnaCut steel. 2 versions. This BK82 has a stonewashed finish, and I think it's the BK92 has the black stonewashed finish. It's the BK2 in our hearts and minds, though, isn't it? Fantastic bulletproof knife. Bulletproof wedge, really. It's not the sliciest thing, that's for sure. 1/4" steel, saber height flat grind. You do the math, right? This thing is an indestructible thing, generally speaking. $245 for these MagnaCut versions. It has the same dimensions. You've got the same classic K-Bar handles, which are insanely comfortable. I know some folks complain that, hey, the K-Bar handles don't, or the Becker handles don't have a lot of grip. They don't need it if they're shaped right. That's always been the thing. And if you're actually using a knife for hours at a time, believe me, these smooth handles really pay dividends. And I've never had one of these slip out of my hands but when actually using the knife. Awesome, awesome thing. Comes with this sheath right here, which is the BK2 sheath, or is it the BK22 sheath? I don't remember. They give a different model number depending on which sheath it has in that case. Oh well, what are you gonna do? The Campanion. Honorable mention. All right, number 6 now. Another fixed blade. Several fixed blades on the list this year, and that makes me very happy. We have the Kizer Drop Bear Pocket Fixed Blade series. Well, I say pocket fixed blade. They don't actually have pocket hardware included, but they are that kind of size. Now there are a few different blade shapes actually. You've got the clip point, the sheep's foot, and a drop point inspired by the original Drop Bear, of course. Interestingly enough, this version right here with the clip point, the S35 VN blade, and black rich light handles, or is this paper micarta? Let me check my notes here for just a second. Black rich light, very cool. This was the most popular one, coming in at $90. But you could get versions with AEBL steel or 14C28N for around the $50 mark, between 50 and 60 bucks, generally speaking, which is a pretty cool thing. Blade is about 2.6. You've got, 3-finger grip for most folks, I would say. You do have an unguarded finger choil here, which if your fingers aren't, big diameter like mine, might be a little more comfortable, of course. And then the other cool thing, toothpick and tweezers, both in metal. Here in the back, there is the tweezer, and there is the toothpick. All included, which is very cool. Sheath is Kydex. It's not for this one, that's for the sheep's foot. And it comes with a 2-row locking style or button release style attachment. Tech locks will work, ulti-clips will work if you want to pocket carry it. All kinds of stuff can be made to work with this. Just a great everyday carry fixed blade. And the budget capabilities, or the budget considerations especially on some of them, very nice. Now we come to our next honorable mention. This is where in the list this knife would fall, if it were allowed to fall. The Kershaw Leek Trout. The Rainbow Leek Trout. I couldn't believe this one either. Just kind of blew my mind a little bit. I mean, there's a reason the Leek in general still sells in big numbers today. It is a great, highly refined, elegant everyday carry. It's made in the USA. It's not too expensive. It hits a lot of points really nicely. There's a ton of variety for people to choose from, including a lot of new graphic options this year. None of them more popular than the Leek Trout right here. This is coming in at about $80 right now. It's got the same 14C28N steel as the standard model. Hey, interestingly, 85 bucks for that same steel here on the CRKT. You also have Ken Onion's Speed Safe design for the assisted opening, a technology that revolutionized the industry. It's not so revolutionary now, but it's still available, still going strong. It means the action every time you open that blade is repeatable and snappy. Very, very cool. And a bit of a surprise, like I said. Who'da thunk, the Leek Trout. It's sort of one, we were talking about it earlier. On paper, you're like, okay, whatever. In person, it's like, you know what? That really works.
It's one way to put a leak in your boat.
Hey, there you go. It's the only kind of leak I would want in my boat. All right, coming up for spot number 5 now, top half of the list. The CIVIVI Buster FG, right here. A Snex tan design, of course. A monstrous blade right here. Coming in, normal price is just under 100 bucks, and you get a massive 4.2-inch Nitro V steel blade. Great sheep's foot profile, built for heavy duty feeling cuts. Not too thick, not too thin on that blade stock, so it can really withstand some of that rougher use, especially when you consider Nitro V is a tougher stainless steel. And you've got the super lock here at the back. This dorsal style activation allows you to flick the blade open and closed. Finger safe closing path, as you could see as well. Ambidextrous, which is quite nice. Ambidextrous clip backs up the right and left-handed use as well. Plenty of handle length. I often kind of tongue-in-cheekly mention my hand size on these videos as being slightly larger than average, because they're not huge per se, but they're not small or medium size really either. But look at that. Tons of extra space. I could have 2 extra fingers in addition to my thumb and still have space for all of it on that handle. That gives you options for more reach if you're choking back for cuts further away like that, or the ability to choke up really close to that edge without anything getting in the way, and execute finer and more controlled cuts, especially at there near the heel of the blade. It's a heck of a lot of fun too. Just very, very cool knife. And next up, number 4, the Spyderco Sage 6. Now I know what you're saying. The Sage is not a new design, and no, it's not, but each iteration of the Sage series is kind of a new release. We've got the button actuated compression lock right here, making it a new thing. I'm sticking to it, darn it. There you go. The Sage series has always been about, you know, new lock types, each one showcasing a different lock type. So it's not just a material swap here from a previous Sage. This is a new platform. Well, not a new platform, but I'm not explaining this well, but I think you know what I'm talking about. Price on this is about $210. You've got a 3-inch drop point blade, S30V blade steel, peel ply carbon fiber handle, so you get that nice texture on the front right here. Wire pocket clip, which is reversible for left or right carry, which is good because the lock works left-handed or right-handed as well. You've got 3.5 fingers of grip for my hands, or thanks to Spyderco's guarded finger choil, a full 4+ finger grip for me. Just a great design, always has been. And to me, the button here is actually really perfectly placed. That was my initial hesitation about this model, quite honestly, because we're so used to seeing button locks with the button a lot closer to the pivot. And I thought this might get in the way, might be more prone to being accidentally disengaged when gripping the knife. But in reality, when I hold the knife, naturally, just like this, I'm well clear of that button. It doesn't get in the way whatsoever. Even when I'm back here, my thumb is near it, sure, but it's not anywhere near pressing the knife. Pinch grips, that's where it really pays dividends. Sometimes if the button is too close to the pivot, you might bump it if you're, getting in with a pinch grip like so. But again, can you see that angle? It works really well. That's really impressive. And you get the reliability of the compression lock built into it as well. No extra springs to make the button or the plunge lock work, because it's not a plunge lock. You've got the leaf spring of the liner to create the compression lock. It's just being actuated by the button. Pretty dang cool. Number 3, getting down to the wire. What do you folks think it's gonna be? Let me know.
No cheating.
No cheating. The Kershaw Launch Iridium. How cool is this knife? It is the first time in the history of Kershaw that they have had a model that started out as an imported version. It was an imported knife that had become so successful, they brought it to the US to make a US version. It's happened the other way around before, but never in this direction. This is a switchblade of the classic, should I say classic? Of the very popular Iridium platform. It's the same size as the original Iridium, the Iridium. Now that doesn't work too well, does it? 3.45-inch blade, awesome kind of spear point styling with the swedge here, about $168. Aluminum handles, Magna cut steel in this case. It is very, very balanced for EDC, and I gotta say, I've been a longtime fan of the Launch series from Kershaw, and my longtime favorite has been the Launch 1. They've done tons of great stuff since then, including ones that have come real close to unseating the Launch 1 as my favorite Launch model. But the 1 has always been the one. If I were picking a new Launch to EDC today, it would probably be the Iridium. It is an awesome knife. It is balanced, the blade shape is excellent, it slices well, it pierces well, it's agile. It's a great knife. Easy to see why it's number 3, even if it's an automatic, which is kind of working against the model for greater sales. Not as many people are willing to buy a switchblade knife over a standard non-switchbladed knife or non-switchblade model. So extra impressive that it is all the way at number 3. All right, number 2. And this is another one that I didn't necessarily expect, but I am even more pleased that it is here than I am with that first CRKT that we looked at, because it's the second CRKT, and it's my favorite blade shape of all time. The Fultz Minimalist model in Nessmuk blade. Yeah, man, I'm so thrilled that this is so high up on the list. Standard version's about $48. There was a special edition that it's actually, it's still around. That comes in about $75 with fancier handles and blade steel. But they finally got like the standard steel combination on the Minimalist at a place where like the modern knife enthusiast is still going to be happy with it. D2 blade steel for tons of edge retention at this price point, and the G10 handles here. I guess it's more of a, actually it's not G10, it's more of a linen micarta actually. Aggressive finger grooves keep your fingers locked in place, even for my large fingers. And you've got a fob at the back for extra retention. The Nessmuk blade here is kind of a butcher knifey inspired take on the blade. It's about 3 inches long, a little bit on the thicker side, but you do have a high hollow grind, keeping the thickness behind the edge nice and slim. So the bite should be pretty good. And of course, it's a skinning type of profile. But it's pretty good for everyday carry, I would argue as well. The sheath is set up for neck carry. Might be able to rig some other options up for belt or pocket carry. Actually, there is a belt attachment in the box, I just remembered. So that is included too. Awesome. All right, before we get to number one, 2 things I want to talk about. One more honorable mention, the Spyderco Kapara, our KnifeCenter exclusive version in S90V blade steel and burlap micarta. Sold like gangbusters. We went through our whole allotment very quickly, which was very exciting to see. Again, not a new knife, however. Under old rules, this would have applied because this is, this sold this well for just this model. We're not including the other standard versions of this knife in the sales numbers to get it at spot number 2. Awesome knife, but doesn't apply. And getting into that just a little bit deeper, we were looking at the 15V steel sprint run Spyderco models that were released this year. And this goes to show why we can't include sprint runs. Even if we did, 4 of the top 10 would have been 15V Spyderco models this year. That's a boring list. So that's why we changed the rules a little bit. The 15V lightweight sold, or 15V native 5 lightweight sold more than the Kizer Drop Bear, the K-Bar Slabby, the Roxon Flex, the CRKT 4200, the Spyderco Slym. The Manix 2 lightweight sold more than the Sage 6 and the Buster FG. The Military 2 sold more than the Launch Iridium, and the Para 3 lightweight and the Para 3 each, both on their own, sold more than the Minimalist Nessmuk. That's cool to see like one brand dominate in a way, but it's also kind of boring. So there you go. And now number one, and I am both incredibly thrilled by number one because it has personal impact on me, but I also want to try to be humble about it because I know a lot of people don't necessarily like seeing my designs, seeing me talk about my designs. Not that I think I beat you guys over the head with it. A very small percentage of our yearly videos have had my stuff in it, but the CJRB Maximal, my first folding knife design, blew number 2 and everything below it right out of the water this year in terms of new releases. We did have an exclusive version of the Maximal right here. Right now we have a restock of it actually with SF2 blade steel and upgrade, in addition to upgraded handle materials with the full carbon fiber. This is only about $70. Even without the sales of the exclusive included, the standard models would have still earned spot number 1. I'm so grateful for that. Let me tell you about the knife real quick and then we'll sign off. It's a knife I designed because I wanted to have something that I could recommend to literally anyone who just says, hey, I need a knife. And I don't need to ask any other questions to know that this thing is gonna work for them. So many knives on the market came like real close to this list that I've kind of developed over the years of things I was looking for. And finally it struck me like, this list that I have is in my head. Nothing fits it. Why don't I design something to fit it? So I did. And this is that knife. It's 3 inches, so you can take it just about anywhere, including places with more restrictive knife laws, although check, that's on you. You got to know where you're going, what the laws are there, of course. Don't take this as legal advice. So it's small enough for that, and small enough that most people will be comfortable with it. But the handle is broad enough that you can still cut big when you need it to. So it really straddles the line between small knife and full-size knife, I think, pretty darn well. It's also fully ambidextrous thanks to the crossbar lock and reversible pocket clip and dual thumb studs. CJRB, great company to work with, and they have the best action on a crossbar lock, especially in the budget space, across any of the brands I have encountered right there, which is really awesome. The blade is versatile enough to work just about in any scenario as well. Little bit tactical, although it's not a tactical knife, outdoorsy, everyday carry, a little bit of food prep maybe. Take your pick. It's gonna work. You got a little bit of a finger guard here that gives you some protection without being too much. I love it. And I am grateful to see that you folks have loved it too. I've been carrying mine pretty much nonstop all year since the production versions have come out. And it's the tip of the iceberg too. We got some really cool stuff planned for the Maximal family. I can't say anything just yet because they haven't committed to exactly what they want to do right now, but I've got some cool stuff in mind. And I hope you're going to enjoy it too. That's all we've got for now, folks. Let me know what you thought of the list down in the comments. And if you have any issue with it, remember, this is based on sales. You have no one to blame but yourselves. Anyway, to get your hands on any of these knives here in front of me, check out the links in the description, which will take you to KnifeCenter.com. And don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program or our installment plan options for payment at checkout if you want to make things a little more manageable, especially for some of these more expensive knives. That's all for now. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year soon. Start buying. You got to start working on next year's list tomorrow, right? Or today. Cheers. See you next time.